Hello everybody and welcome into the RNGIDP channel. Here with another Game Day 17 broadcast. This time we move over to the AL as Toronto Swablu will take on the Baltimore Oricorios here in my 2015 randomized NUS League in the AL. This is going to be a good one as Toronto comes into the ball game. They are 9-6, sitting 4th place in the AL. They come into this game after beating Boston, one of the teams ahead of them, to pull into a tie with Boston at 9-6. At home, Toronto won 5-3 against Boston. They had lost a couple in a row, so they are now on the winning side and have won one in a row. And the team right behind them on their tails is Baltimore. They had game day 16 off, but before that they had won their last game. So Baltimore looking to pull up to 9-6. There are 3 teams ahead of them in the standings at 9-6. Boston is second, Seattle is third, and Toronto, as I mentioned, is fourth. Those teams are separated by their run differential. Toronto's is 16, that's why they're in 4th. Seattle's is 21, and Boston is 26. All those 3 teams sit 2 games behind the leaders, Texas Diggersby. Baltimore is at 2.5 back. So this one is fighting for top spot, well, one of the top spots in the AL, and I'm looking forward to bringing it to you here. So let's take a look at Baltimore's pitcher tonight. It'll be Chris Tillman. Chris Tillman getting started early here tonight. Well, earlier than usual. Still kind of late night strat, right? Does it count as late night strat if it's before 9 o'clock Mountain Time? I don't know. Probably. Chris Tillman, he's pitched in 14 2/3 innings. He's got a 1-2 record, 19 hits given up, 10 earned runs. He's got 11 strikeouts and 7 walks. The ERA, if you're have sensitive ears, cover them. It's not pretty. It's 6.16 for Chris Tillman. And this will be the Toronto lineup to face him. Toronto can hit the ball. They have scored 72 runs on the season. Toronto's lineup looks a little something like this today. It'll be Cameron Maben leading off. He's 231. He's got a couple homers and 4 RBIs. Robinson Cano, don't you know, is hitting in second. Cano's at 375 with 7 doubles. No homers yet for Cano, but 7 doubles is pretty good. Todd Frazier hits in the 3rd spot. He's the 3rd baseman. Frazier's hitting 183. He does have 4 homers and 11 runs batted in, though. Albert Pujols is the cleanup man. He's at a solid 300 batting average with 6 homers and 12 RBIs, which leads the squad in both those categories. This is the guy right here, though. Eric Ibar. Look at this average. 441 for Eric Ibar. That is tops in the AL by quite a margin. The 2nd place batter in the AL is Ben Zobrist from Texas, and he's hitting 397. So Ibar is clear 400, the only one in the AL, and he's clear by a big margin. Hitting behind him will be Jonathan Scope. No, not Scoop. Scope. Jonathan Scope. He's hitting 128. 6 hits and 47 at-bats. In the 7th spot, it'll be the left fielder, Brandon Geyer. He's at a solid 273. Pair of homers and 4 runs batted in. Francisco Cervelli is the catcher. He's 15 for 40 on the season with 3 home runs. He's got 10 RBI, though, out of that 8th spot. And Michael Taylor rounds out the lineup. Michael Taylor has been a surprise. He's hitting 309, way outperforming his card. He's got 4 doubles, a home run, 5 runs batted in. But he'll bat 9th as Chris Tillman finishes up his warm-up pitches and he's ready to go. Hammer time, 10:31 says, what? You give these guys a day off? Pampered athletes. Yeah, you know what, Hammer time, you're probably right. We've got 30 days, 28 games in 30 days for every single team here. So they get 2 days off in a month, basically. So they're putting in some games. All right, Chris Tillman is ready. And welcome to the stream, Camera Time. Can't touch this. It's Chris Tillman. He's ready to roll, and he'll face Cameron Maben. It's a 4-7 to get this thing started, and Maben is aboard with a leadoff walk. For those of you that saw my update earlier, I'm a little tired, man. I was busy day at work. We had some snow here in the Rocky Mountain region. I had to take my mom to the airport early, and I looked on my little fitness tracker thing on the, you know how it tracks your sleep, which is a little bit creepy. It tracks your sleep, and it said I slept for 4 hours and 10 minutes last night, so I'm a little tired. Robinson Cano, he's going to lace a single out to center field. Cameron Maben's got some wheels. He'll make a turn at second, picking up his coach. And let's take a look. He's a 1-16 runner. He was being held. That's a single out to left field. Ben Revere is a +3. So it's a 16 +3, which is a 19. He was being held, so it's a 1-18. Cameron Maben is going to round that base and hit a 9. So he gets there easily. Runners on the corners now for Toronto as Tillman finds himself in trouble early. Runners on the corners, nobody out here in the top of the first. A lot of the fans here in Baltimore haven't even reached their seats yet, and they're almost already down a run. Runners on the corners, Todd Frazier's up. The infield comes in. It's a 1-10. A 1-10 is a ground ball second base C. Let me check with the infield in. A ground ball second base C. Runner on third holds. Other runners advance a base. So that would have scored a run with the ground ball C, but the infield is in. The second baseman, Ian Kinsler, makes a nice grab. He looks the runner back at third, and his only play is going to be at first as he gets Todd Frazier for the first out. Cano takes second as he was off with the crack of the bat. So we got runners at second and third, and now Albert Pujols is up to the plate. Thanks for going on early, says Hammer Time. I always have time to watch the replay the next day. Was this did you just change your name on YouTube? Because what was it last time? You popped in one of the most recent chats. I can't remember what your name used to be, but I'm happy that you're back, and I am streaming at a different time, so maybe we'll get a couple of new people in here, like Hammer Time. I love that name. I just want to keep saying Hammer Time. Albert Pujols is ready for some Hammer Time as he's got runners at second and third. And with Eric Ibar being on fire behind him, they're going to pitch to Pujols. The infield comes in again. It's a 1-7, a 1-7. That's a single out to left field. Robinson Cano at second takes a look. Will he try and score? Maben is in. Cano is rounding third. Maben is... no, not Maben, excuse me. Cano is a 1-13 runner. The infield was in, so they weren't holding. So a 13 plus 1 is a 14. That's out to left field again. So it's a +3. So that's a 17. So round the third, he comes. Robinson Cano, a 1-17. He'll score. It's a 5. So he's in easily with a feet first slide. Excuse me, can't talk tonight. And that's a 2-run single for Albert Pujols here in the top of the first, driving in 2 runs, and Toronto pulls out to a 2-0 lead early here in the first. Hammerschmidt is your last name, so it's an easy nickname. Hey, that's pretty cool. I like it. Hammer Time, 10:31. Hammer Time for Halloween. Eric Ibar now with Albert Pujols at first. 2 runs are in, 1 out here. And Eric Ibar against Chris Tillman. It's a 2-3, and that's a little number to first. Chris Carter doesn't move well, and he will have to come in on it. His only play is going to be at first as Pujols gets to second on the putout from Chris Carter to the pitcher, Chris Tillman. That's a 3-1 putout. So now there's 2 outs. You got Eric Ibar, which has been hard to do. That average dips below 440. And it's Jonathan Scope. Scope, a 5-9. Oh boy, a 5-9. This one is hit well. Is he in normal power? He is. And that one is adios. That one is gone out to center field. Jonathan Scope goes big fly. A 2-run bomb off Chris Tillman. here in the top of the first. And what is going on? It's already a 4-0 lead for Toronto as they're jumping all over the starter, Chris Tillman, here in Baltimore. A 2-run shot, Scope doubles the lead as Ken Castro is here just in time to watch Toronto jump out to a 4-0 lead here in the top of the first. Getting started here in the AL, Toronto and Baltimore. Brandon Geyer now is the batter. It's a 6-10. 6-10, that's going to be a single, so Chris Tillman can't get anybody out. He's faced 7 batters and given up, 4 hits now, 4 runs, threw a walk, and 2 outs now. The catcher, AJ Ellis, goes out to the mound to try and calm Tillman down. Say, hey man, what's going on? Why can't you get anybody out? The umpire's back out there trying to hurry this process along, or else this game's going to go 6 hours. The home crowd for Baltimore getting antsy. And Cervelli, he gets the pitch. It's a 4-8, and that'll be a strikeout. So the conference from the catcher provides dividends as he'll get out of the inning. First strikeout for Tillman, and that's the 3rd out here in the top of the first, but not before Toronto picks up 4 runs, and they are cruising. Only 5 more mound visits, says hammer time. And we haven't even introduced the Baltimore lineup or pitcher. So the pitcher for Toronto, who's inherited 4 runs before he even gets on the field, will be Ervin Santana. Ervin Santana has pitched in 20 1/3 innings. He's got a 3-0 record. He's given up 18 hits, only 6 earned runs, 12 strikeouts, and 6 walks. That's a 2.66 ERA, which is pretty good, 1.18 whip. And this is how Baltimore will try and come back in this one. This lineup they got here, it'll be Ben Revere. Revere hitting .293 as the leadoff man. He's in left field. Ian Kinsler, the second baseman. Kinsler needs to get that bat going. He's at .217 right now. He does have 5 extra base hits. Daniel Murphy, another slumping bat. He's at .217. He's got a homer. Only 5 runs batted in. He's at third base. Lorenzo Cain, the right fielder, he's hitting .250. Noticing anything? The averages are low here. The DH today will be Josh Hamilton. Hamilton's 6 for 23 in his at-bats. No homers yet. Chris Carter playing first base, as we saw. He's at .260 with 4 doubles and a homer. AJ Ellis is the catcher. He's at .205 with a pair of doubles. Jacoby Ellsbury is the fielder for Baltimore. Ellsbury is 7 for 28. He's been injured often. He does have 3 RBI. Tim Beckham is the shortstop. Beckham is hitting .277. That might be the highest batting average in the starting lineup. No, it's Ben Revere. So the 1-hitter and the 9-hitter have the 2 highest batting averages as Tim Beckham plays shortstop. All right, we are ready to roll here. Baltimore already in a big hole. And Ben Revere looking to just get on base here. Baltimore, they've had a problem scoring runs. They've only scored 51. That's a low number in the in the AL. And they'll look to score some here against Ben Revere. It's a 4-10. The 4-10 is lifted fairly deep out to right field. Not a problem for the speedy Michael Taylor, though, as he tracks it down. And that'll be the first out here in the bottom of the first. And it's Ian Kinsler now. Ervin Santana looking to take the early lead in wins in the AL. He's tied with a bunch of dudes at 3. And Kinsler smashes this one, but it's right at Eric Ibar, the shortstop. So there's going to be 2 quickly away. Jumped on a first pitch fastball, and Kinsler hits one to where they are. And there's 2 outs. Daniel Murphy now, the left-hander. It's a 2-2. And he leans over the plate, and he gets plunked with that one. Didn't hit him that hard, but he's on base. Daniel Murphy, he'll take it. They need base runners. Hammer Time says he got Angels, Dodgers on MLB Network, and me on the handheld computer that doubles as a phone. Yeah, that's what they are these days, right? For me, I loved my little, I had a flip phone. It was awesome. Had a little color screen. I could text with the T9 like with the fastest of them, man. I could get after it. Lorenzo Kane. Man, that thing was like that small too. It would flip up. It was awesome. Lorenzo Kane, he's got a runner on first. That's David Murphy. A 1-7 is a walk. So Santana got 2 quick outs, and then he's put 2 guys aboard on a walk and a hit batter. So you've got 2 aboard now for the DH, Josh Hamilton. Hamilton, lefty here. He digs into the box against Irvin Santana. I keep saying Irvin Santana. It's a 2-6, and Hamilton swings hard, but swings over the top of a fastball, and that's a strikeout. 1 on the day and 3 in the inning as Irvin Santana gets out of the first. Toronto leads it here in Baltimore 4-0. So Chris Tillman, he'll come back out. Had a rough first inning. We'll see if he can calm down. If not, we'll have to go to the long man for Baltimore, we've got a slew of them for Baltimore, so we'll have a quick hook. It could be Jerome Williams, Vance Worley, Smith, Dubront, Brad Hand. We got plenty of options as far as extra long rivers go. Ken Castro said he played 6 innings of a game before he got a snack, but his eyes are kind of droopy. Ken Castro, he's feeling his inning of sleepiness, kind of like Al, Red Sox fan. Michael Taylor, he's going to lead it off here in the 9-hole batter against Chris Tillman. It's going to be a hit, a 1-2, and that's a triple. That's going to be a single as it's cut off out in the outfield. Taylor is aboard. He's got some wheels on the base paths. He's an A stealer. So we got to check out the catcher, A.J. Ellis, his arm. It's a -2. So they are holding the runner, Michael Taylor. Taylor is a 1-15 with an A, so they're holding him. It's a 1-13, a 1-11. He's not going, not with a 4-run lead. Cameron Maben now, he's walked his first time. A 3-10 will be, this is going to be trouble. It's hit over to Murphy. Murphy up with it quickly, over to Kinsler. Kinsler to Carter. It's a 5-4-3 double play. Just what the doctor ordered for Mr. Tillman, as that gets 2 outs. Now there's nobody on, and Robinson Cano at the plate. Cano singled and scored his last time up. And this is a 4-9. This one is a little looper out to center field. The center fielder, Ellsbury, he's on his horse, and he'll make the grab. And that'll be the 3rd out. Ellsbury made a nice catch and didn't get hurt in the process, which is a bonus, as Toronto doesn't score in the 2nd. It's 4-0. Irvin Santana, in his permanent smile, comes out to the mound, and he'll face the 6, 7, and 8 batters of Chris Carter, A.J. Ellis, and Jacoby Ellsbury. And this is a 4-8, and Chris Carter leads it off with a single. The big man, the first baseman today, is on the base paths. As you imagine, though, he's an E stealer, a 1-11 runner. So he's not going anywhere, and it'll be A.J. Ellis. Double play candidate here with the catcher up. And it's a 5-8, and he's going to strike out. So the 2nd strikeout for Santana. 1 out here in the bottom of the 2nd. And Jacoby Ellsbury is up. The left-hander with his first at-bat of the day. It's a 1-11. A 1-11 is a ballpark single chance. And I didn't write that down, did I? I probably should just hang this now. And here in the AL, in Baltimore, it's a 1-8. A 1-8 chance. So let's roll this. A 1-8, and it's a 5. So that's going to be a single. He's only going to be able to move to 2nd on a single by Jacoby Ellsbury as it sneaks through. And we got runners at 1st and 2nd for the home Baltimore Oricorios, down by 4 runs here early in the second. It'll be Tim Beckham at the plate. Tim Beckham, the shortstop. And a 2-7 is a strikeout. Swing and a miss. And there's 3 Ks. 2 outs now. It went single, strikeout, single, strikeout. If the pattern holds here for Baltimore in this inning, Ben Revere will get a single. He flew out to right in the first inning. And it's a 6-11, and that one is popped up. It's going to be in play. The first baseman, Albert Pujols, makes the catch. The wind blows it back into the infield. So that is a pop out to to first base. And that's the 3rd out. So Baltimore leaves 2 aboard. Can't do that, being down 4 runs. And we move to the 3rd inning. And it's 4-0. Hammer Time says it's past his bedtime on a work night. What? What are you talking about? I know the feeling. I do too, but I don't listen to that feeling on most occasions. As you can tell, I slept for 4 hours last night. I'm running on fumes today. Fumes and caffeine. Chris Tillman now, he'll go back out there. He got the batters in order the last inning after a rough first inning. And Todd Frazier will lead off. It's a 2-7, and Frazier strikes out on a breaking pitch. That is strikeout number 2 for Tillman. 1 out here in the top of the 3rd. Now we got Albert Pujols. Pujols singled in a pair of runs. This last time, this one's going to be hit back to the pitcher, Tillman. Tillman is a 3-range pitcher. A 313 is going to his E rating, which is an 8. We rolled a 9, so an E8, and we rolled a 9. That's going to be a GBA. So Chris Tillman snags it. He'll take a few steps towards the bag. Underhand one to the first baseman, Chris Carter. And there's the 2nd out. So now it's Eric Ibar. He got him to bounce out to first base last time. Ibar still hitting well over 400. This is a 3-9. That is a chopper to second. Kinsler is up with it on a good hop. And he'll take his time and make the throw to first. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Chris Tillman as he works out of the 3rd. It's still 4-0 Toronto. Erwin Santana does a little shimmy out to the mound. And Ian Kinsler will be the leadoff man here. This is the 2-hole hitter. He lined out sharply to shortstop his first time. Hammer Time says, have you guys tried to make History Maker Baseball? Have you guys tried History Maker Baseball? Sorry, or Strat only. Not trying to be sacrilegious, just curious. No, that's a good question. I know there are many people that jump from game to game, from History Maker to APA to all kinds of baseball games out there. But I have been Strat only forever. So that's the only game I own. I'm going to the PlayPlaay.con coming up here in Denver in the next few months. So I'm sure I'll get some exposure to History Maker Baseball. I just have never known anybody that's had it here locally of my friends, and I've never bought it or played it on my own because, I mean, to buy another game is expensive. So, I mean, I already have Strat, so I just haven't wanted to do that initial investment. So, at the play.com, I'm going to play all those games, and it'll be fun, and I'll do some videos from there too. So, Hammer Time, that's a good question. I think Ken has done History Maker Baseball. We'll have to see. Erwin Santana now with the leadoff man, Ian Kinsler. It's a 1-9, and that's a bouncer to third. Todd Frazier's up with it. He'll make the strong throw, and there's 1 out. Hammer Time likes the idea of hot, cold batters. Yeah, I'd like that too. I like the narrative aspect of History Maker. It seems kind of cool that way. And the umpire stuff. Daniel Murphy, he was hit by the pitches last time up. It's a 4-2, and he gets him to strike out. Murphy, the strikeout victim here in the third. So 2 away, and Lorenzo Cain, he walked his last time. Cain, he's a dangerous hitter, but has been quiet so far in this season. It's a 2-9. He's quiet again as he swings and misses on that breaking pitch from Santana. And that'll be a 1-2-3 inning for Santana. He's got 5 strikeouts now through 3 innings. And we are through 3. We move to the 4th, and it's a 4-0 lead. Toronto jumped out early, but everything has calmed since. Chris Tillman has found his release point. He's retired 5 straight, and here he'll face Jonathan Scope. Jonathan Scope had a 2-run homer off of Tillman in his last at bat in the first. This is a 6-7. That's going to be a base hit. Will it be a double? 1-9. It will be. That's a 17. So Scope is going to have to stay at first on a single. He took a long look at that base at second. Took a big turn, but he scampers back to first with a single. So the leadoff man is aboard, Jonathan Scope, and Brandon Geyer's up. He singled his first time. It's a 2-6, and this is going to be more than a single, a 1-5, and it's a homer. It's a 17, so that's a double. Jonathan Scope has some good wheels. Will he round third? He is taking a look. Let me catch up to the action. He's taking a look. Scope is a 1-12 runner. They were holding him. And let's see. That was hit out to center field. Center fielder is Ellsbury. Ellsbury is a 0 arm. So a 1-12, a 1-11. And Scope is going to put on the brakes, and he'll stay at third. Nobody out. No reason to test it. So second and third with nobody out, and Francisco Cervelli at the plate. Chris Tillman had been pitching pretty well, but now here in the 4th, he's given up back-to-back hits. The infield is in against Cervelli. They're going to leave Tillman in there. And it's a 6-6. That's a ground ball A. With the infield in, the runner on third holds. Nobody can advance as the third baseman, Daniel Murphy, charges on that ball quickly, and he'll make the throw to first, and there's 1 out. So no advancement, nobody can score, and it'll be up to Michael Taylor. Infield continues to stay in. That was the only first out. That was only the first out of the top of the 4th. And here's a 3-7. A 3-7 is a ground ball shortstop A+. The infield was in. And on the plus, you know what? I can't remember. The plus is for when it's, I think that's super advanced, right? Yeah, it is. Okay. I'm just playing basic advanced, so that's nothing. It's a another infield in. The shortstop grabs it this time. Tim Beckham, he looks back the runner to third, and his play will be at first, and there's 2 outs. So 2 outs now. Michael Taylor grounds out to the shortstop, and with 2 outs, the infield can go back to their original positions, and it'll be Cameron Maben now. Maben's 0 for 1 with the walk, and Tillman looking to get out of this jam. That'll be a fly ball out to left field. Ben Revere gonna have to make a midnight run out there in left field. He's a 2-range left fielder, a 2.8. That's going to his E rating. So that's an 11. His E rating is a 0. He's an excellent defender. So that'll be a fly ball left field B as Cameron Maben hits one out to left field, and only Ben Revere on his horse is able to make that play. And he does. So that'll be the 3rd out. And Chris Tillman gets out of that jam, performs a magic trick, and we exit the 4th. It's still 4-0. Good pitching there by Chris Tillman, and good defense behind him. And so he continues, and so does Erwin Santana as we reach the bottom of the 4th. Erwin Santana will face the leadoff man of Josh Hamilton, then Chris Carter and A.J. Ellis. Hamilton with a 2-7, and he strikes out again. 2 strikeouts for Hamilton on the day. That's 3 in a row sat down via the K for Santana, who's starting to feel it now. And Chris Carter will be up. Carter singled, got to second base, but that's as far as he could get. And this is a strikeout. So 4 in a row now for Santana via the K. And it'll be A.J. Ellis, who struck out his last time. Ellis with the pitch. It's a 6-6. A 6-6, that's not going to be a strikeout, as that one is hit weakly out to right field. Michael Taylor, he charges on it. He'll make the play. Does a little slide. Probably was a little egregious. Didn't need to slide there. But the showman, Michael Taylor, makes the catch with a little flair. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for Santana. We are quickly in the 5th. And Tillman will make his way back out there. Raise your hand if you had Chris Tillman getting out of that first, much less reaching the 5th. I don't see any hands. Mine's not up. He'll face Cano, Frazier, and Pujols, returning to the scene of the crime against Pujols, who hit a 2-run single against him. And Cano, he'll hit a ballpark single chance. That is a line out to shortstop, to second base. So he had a 1-8 chance. We rolled a 16, so it's a liner out to the second baseman. Now it's Todd Frazier. He's 0 for 2 on the day. A 6-5. I feel like we've rolled a lot of 6s today. A shortstop X chance. The shortstop is Tim Beckham. He is a 4-range shortstop. A 4-9, that could be trouble. That is going to his E rating, which is a 14. We rolled low. That might be a problem. E14 and a 5. Tim Beckham gets there barely, and he makes an off-balance throw, and first baseman Chris Carter's not going to be able to scoop it. It gets past him, and that'll be an error on Tim Beckham. So Todd Frazier, the leadoff man, is aboard on an E6. So Frazier's on base, and he'll have Albert Pujols. Pujols, as I mentioned, he had a 2-run single in the first. He grounded out to the pitchers last time. Here, it's a 4-8, and that's a strikeout. So Tillman battles back after the error, picking up his shortstop. That's his strikeout, but he's got still work to do. Still has work to do. As now Eric Ibar's up. And if the averages are right, Eric Ibar's hitting over 400. He's 0 for 2 today. This will be a base hit. We'll see. It's a 3-10. A 3-10 is a ballpark single chance. It's a 16, and so that'll be a line shot out to second. And the second baseman, Kinsler, was busy here. That's the 3rd out. So Tillman gets through the 5th. Still only gave up 4 runs. A nice comeback in this one for Tillman, as he was shelled in the first, stuck with it, and has made it through 5. So Santana, looking to match that feat, he has retired 8 straight. The last man to reach was Jacoby Ellsbury, who had a single in the second, and here he is, the lead off the 5th. That's a 5-9, and Ellsbury gets a hold of this one, a 1-12, and it'll be up and out of here. It's a 14, so that is going to drop out in the outfield. That'll be a double, a leadoff double for Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury got around first quickly, and into second standing up. If the center fielder wasn't out there quickly, that was Cameron Maben. He probably could have tried for 3. But he's going to stop at second. Baltimore needs all the runs he can. And Tim Beckham is up to face Erwin Santana. A 6-10, and he gets him looking. That's a strikeout for Santana. 8 now for Santana in the 1 out in the 5th. So Ben Revere is up. He's 0 for 2. Jerry Ball is here. Hello, Jerry. We're already in the bottom of the 5th. Are you at the bottom of your 5th? Well, go fill it up and grab me one. All right, Ben Revere is the man. And this one is a 2 column. That looks good for Revere. It's a 2-7. That's a single. And this has a chance to score the runner from second, Ellsbury. He's a quick runner. It was hit out to center field. Ellsbury is a 1-17 runner. So they were holding him. So it would be a 1-16. 1-16. It was hit out to center field, did I say? No, it was left field. So Brandon Geyer will be the left fielder. He's a -2 arm. So a 1-14, and he'll score. Do we send him? A 1-14 is a pretty good shot. With 1 out, do we send Ellsbury? Let me make sure. 1-17, 1-16, 1-14. Yeah, they're going to send him. So they're going to try and run on Brandon Geyer. Ellsbury is at the plate, and he's safe. Ellsbury just under the tag, as he will score on a single from Ben Revere. Took a chance there, but Ben Revere gets an RBI, and Toronto gives up a run to Baltimore. It's 4-1. Ken Castro says, talking about History Maker Baseball, and said that baseball demos made teams with all the chat guys. Yeah, I had just started to be a part of the YouTube community, not even really posting games yet, but I had set things up, and I just hadn't even done it really yet. So when I was watching baseball demos do that, I asked for a card, and I don't even think he knew who I was. He probably still doesn't even know who I am, because I don't get to watch a lot, so he probably still doesn't even know who I am. But that's okay. So here we are in the bottom of the 5th. Baltimore has scored a run on a double from Ellsbury, driven home by Ben Revere on a single. And now Revere is at first with 1 out. Revere is a B stealer. Ian Kinsler is at the plate. It's a 5-7. A 5-7 is a strikeout. So Santana racking up those Ks today. That's 9 now. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th. And it'll be Daniel Murphy. Murphy's 0 for 1. Got plunked by a pitch in the shoulder. And it's a 5-6. That one is going to be a 2-hopper out to second base. Jonathan Scope, he picks it up. And he'll find his target at first. Throw it over there. And that'll be the end of the inning. We are through 5. Baltimore gets a run back. And it's a 4-1 ball game. I really like that idea that Baseball Demos did. He's on to something there with that chat, those people from the chat cards. That was fun. I've tuned to every single one of those games just to see who was in the starting lineups, when I would ever get in that bat, if my card would stack up against some of those teams that he was playing against. I think my statistics, I don't think I ever got a hit with my card. Spoiler alert, it wasn't that good. I think I drew a walk. I think I might have been on base 1 time out of the 4 or 5 at-bats I had as a pinch hitter. All right, Jonathan Scope here will lead off against Chris Tillman. Scope has Tillman's number today. He's 2 for 2 with a homer and a single. This is a 5-7. This has a chance to be a single. Not a good one. And it's hit a little too hard. The third baseman, Daniel Murphy, able to pick that one before it bounces out into the outfield. There's 1 out. Brandon Geyer now. Geyer's 2 for 2. So Scope and Geyer, they're doing a lot of damage here. A 6-7. Well, speaking of, that's going to be another hit. A 1-9. It'll be a double. That's an 8. So it's another double for Brandon Geyer against Chris Tillman as he throws out a 1-out double. Geyer will be aboard for Francisco Cervelli again. Cervelli's 0 for 2. Tillman, his pitcher inning of weakness is the 6th. This is a 4-6, and that's going to be a grounder over to the shortstop. Tim Beckham picks it. He looks Geyer back to second, and he'll make the throw, and plenty of time to get the catcher running. There's 2 outs. So it'll be Michael Taylor. Taylor has a hit today. He's singled. He was out on the double play from Cameron Maben at second. And with 2 outs, he gets the pitch. That's a 1 column. That's good. A 1-10. This is going to be a base hit. A 1-12. It's a double. He hits it into the gap. Just touches down. Hits the wall. And that'll be a double for Michael Taylor, as that'll score the runner from second, Brandon Geyer. And Taylor has himself an RBI double and gets that run back for Toronto. So Tillman had been cruising, but hits a wall here in the 6th and turns the lineup over to Cameron Maben. This might be Tillman's last batter, as you got the lefty coming up in Cano. Runner at second, 2 outs. It's a 4-7. A 4-7 is a walk. So that will trigger the pitcher inning of weakness for Chris Tillman, as he walks Cameron Maben. Michael Taylor still at second. And I think we're going to have to go get somebody out of the bullpen. It will be Felix Dubront. Sorry, that was my terrible attempt at a French accent. I apologize for all the Francophiles out there. Let's see. So Chris Tillman gives way to the lefty, Felix Dubront. Doubront. So Tillman, he went 5 2/3. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. Struck out 3 batters. And let's see, he walked only 2 batters. Not a terrible start for Tillman, but not great either. And now it'll be Felix Dubront against the lefty Robbie Cano. Runners at first and second. It's a 2-5, and that's a single out to center field. We'll have to see if the runners will score. Michael Taylor was off with 2 outs. He probably will score. Let's tally that up. Let's see. Michael Taylor is a speedster. 1-15 with 2 outs. That's a 1-17. And to center field, Jacoby Ellsbury is a -0. So it's a 1-17 arm. Were they holding him? Yeah. Well, with 2 outs, yeah, they were holding him. So it's a 1-16. They're going to send him. It's a 5, and he'll score. So another run is in. Robbie Cano goes lefty on lefty violence here, as he throws out an RBI single here in the top of the 6th. And another run is in for Toronto. Robinson Cano with an RBI single. So Todd Frazier is the man now. It's a 6-1 ball game, and Dubront will continue. Against Todd Frazier, it's a 3-7, and that just misses a home run. Todd Frazier looking frustrated as he thought he had one, and that's hitting to the dirt. The shortstop, Tim Beckham, is up with it. He'll go over to first, and there is the 3rd out. So Dubront can't keep another run off the board as we exit the top of the 6th. 2 more runs are in for Toronto. It's a 6-1 ball game. That closes the book on Tillman. He gave up 6 runs, all of them that were earned. And so we move to the bottom of the 6th. Erwin Santana will be back out there. The Pillsbury Doughboy. Boo! Jerry Ball referencing Ellsbury, Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury, your boy, is 2 for 2 today. He's scored a run, had a double, had a good game. Here, Lorenzo Cain will face Erwin Santana. He is 0 for 1 on the day with a strikeout. And there's another strikeout. That's 10 now for Santana, who's found a groove now. So it'll be Josh Hamilton, who's struck out twice, 0 for 2. And this is a 2-7, and there is the hat trick. That's a swinging strikeout. Strikeout number 11 now. 2 outs here in the 6th. It'll be Chris Carter. This team is prone to strikeouts. Look at this lineup. You got Hamilton, Carter. These guys, they strike out quite a bit. Ian Kinsler does too. And Carter with a 2-8. A 2-8. That one is a single chance. He's got one number on there to be a single. And so it'll be hit to third off the end of the bat. Todd Frazier is up with it. He could eat a sandwich and still make a throw to get Carter out. And he eventually does throw it. And that'll be the third out. So another 1-2-3 inning for Santana. As we're through the 6th, it's 6-1. Toronto in control. We've seen this a few times, though, especially recently. What game was it? I think it was like 2 games ago, where LA was up big, and then New York came back. I can't remember the exact teams, but we saw a big lead dissipate in the later innings, so it's possible. Dubront will continue. He'll face Albert Pujols. 5-4 is a... Oh, that one's hit well. Out to deep right field. But Lorenzo Cain is out there, and he'll be able to track it just a step shy of the warning track. So Pujols gave it a ride, but not deep enough. And Dubront gets off the hook on that one. So Ibar, he's 0 for 3 today. He'll flip over to the left-hand side, see if that has any better luck. This one is a fly ball center field X. Jacoby Ellsbury is the center fielder. He is a 2-range center fielder. A 218. He's going to get there, make a nice sliding catch. So Jacoby Ellsbury, he pops up, didn't break anything, and there's 2 outs. The poor Baltimore double-stuffed Oreos. Really, they've got a tear in their milk. Jonathan Scope, he's 2 for 3. He's been one of the productive members here. It's a 1-7. That's a strikeout for Dubront. A swinging strikeout. And it's a 1-2-3 inning for the reliever. He sits down Toronto in order. It is the middle of the 7th. It's all over but the crying for Baltimore. As Santana will come back out. Nothing really to prove yet for Santana, but he's pitched well, and they'll continue with him. It'll be Ellis, Ellsbury, and Beckham. So the singing is over, and it's a 6-7. That's a ground ball second base X. The second baseman is Scope, and he's got his sights set on this one. Scope is a 2-range second baseman. A 2-19. He's locked and loaded as he picks it and fires over to first. No problem to get A.J. Ellis. That is the first out. Nice pop-up, Craig. Yeah. Jacoby Ellsbury. Ellsbury with a 2 for 2 on the day. Single, doubled. Let's see if it can triple here. And this is a 6-11. That one is popped up on the infield. The first baseman, Pujols, calls off Scope. He's about twice his size. Scope wisely moves out of the way, and Pujols will make the catch. So it's now Tim Beckham. Tim Beckham, he struck out twice against Santana. And there's a 3-8. A 3-8. That is a chopper over to Scope. He's going to make this play as he'll snag it up and fire first. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Santana. He's through the 7th. Really hasn't had much trouble. He has faced 27 batters and has made it through the 7th. Dubront, he'll continue. He's got a 4 relief rating, so he's a long reliever. Jerry Ball says, drill the doughboy. Well, we got him out anyway without having to hit him. And Brandon Geyer is the man at the plate. That's a single thrown out to center field as Geyer has himself a 4-for-4 day. Have a day, Geyer. Just go ahead. Take the base. It'll be Francisco Cervelli now. He's 0-for-3. Geyer's been on 4 times, and Cervelli hasn't done anything behind him. It's a 4-12. That's a ground ball first base X. My D20 took off. There it is. A first base X. Chris Carter, he's not what you would call a great fielder. He's a 4-range. A 4-range first baseman is, and a 9 is what we rolled. That's going to his E rating. So he's an E13, and we rolled a 6. E13 with a 6 is an error. So Chris Carter goes underneath his glove as Carter bends at the hip and not the knees, and that ball gets past him. So Geyer will advance to second on the error. Cervelli gets over to first on the E3. Chris Carter with the E by his name now. The purple E. So nobody out here. Dubront struggling in the 8th inning. He's got Michael Taylor up. Taylor's 2-for-3. Dubront, the lefty, with the pitch. It's a 6-8. That's a single 2-star, so Brandon Geyer will come home to score on the single from Taylor, who's got his 2nd RBI on the day. And I think Dubront has his carriage has turned into a pumpkin. So Cervelli will advance to 3rd. And we've got runners at the corners with nobody out. It's a 7-1 ball game. And Dubront is going to come out. They will go to, it'll be Vance Worley. Vance Worley, he'll take over as we move to the top of the order again. And after the single from Michael Taylor brings it to a 7-1 ball game, Vance Worley will take over. Felix Dubront did well, but hit a wall quickly. And Worley, with his shark tooth necklace hanging out and his wild hair, comes out here in the 8th. Dubront went 1 1/3 inning. He gave up 1, 2, 3 hits. 3 hits, and let's see here. He struck out 1, and he walked nobody. Okay. Well, Worley's out here, and it'll be Cameron Maben now. Maben is 0-for-2. He's drawn 2 walks. And I think we may get some at-bats for some other guys here. Corey Spangenberg will pinch hit and play center field for the veteran Cameron Maben, who gets the rest of the day off to rest those legs. Spangenberg will take over. I like saying his name. Corey Spangenberg. What nationality is that? Does anybody know what nationality Corey Spangenberg, the last name Spangenberg, is? I'm sorry, I just have to say it. There, the chat I looked up. I haven't looked up in a minute. It is roasting Jacoby Ellsbury. It's a Ellsbury roast. And Spangenberg, the lefty, against Vance Worley. That's a ground ball first base X. The infield is in. The first baseman is Chris Carter. Oh no, this could be trouble. Another trouble. He's a 4. We just saw he was a 4. So a first baseman 4 with a 5. That's going to be down the line and past a somewhat diving Carter. He gave it a show of an effort. But that's going to be a double. a double 2-star, and the run will score from third. That's Francisco Cervelli. And Taylor will take third. So that's an RBI for the pinch hitter, Corey Spangenberg. Cervelli's run was unearned. Well, actually, because there's a new pitcher, we will consider that an earned run. The official score has made it an earned run. And Robinson Cano now will be at the plate. Robinson Cano against Vance Worley. This one is a fly ball out to left field. That is a left field B. That's going to be a sac fly. So nobody out, and that'll be a sac fly for Robbie Cano out to left field. So that'll get a run home. The runner, Michael Taylor, will take up and score. And I've lost track of how many runs Toronto has scored, but it's a bunch. 4, 8, 9 runs, 9-1. Toronto putting on a show here. And Vance Worley, he's gotten an out. That's something. It'll be Todd Frazier's turn. And, well, guess what? There's a single. A single 2-star, and that'll bring home Spangenberger. This one's turning into a laugher. Spangenberger comes home on the single from Todd Frazier. And it's a, what did I say it was? 9, 4, 6, yeah, well, it's 10. 10-1. So Frazier's got himself an RBI on his first base hit of the game. And Albert Pujols is now the man at the plate. Pujols is going to get the rest of the afternoon off. His day is over. Brett Wallace will take over. So Toronto cycling out some starters, getting some at-bats for some bench players. And Brett Wallace will take over at first base. And pinch hit here. Vance Worley's going to have to wear this one. And that's a 2-9. A 2-9. Brett Wallace, he strikes out. So that's the first strikeout for Worley. We got 2 outs now here in the top of the 8th. Vance Worley gets a Bronx cheer as he gets an out here. That'll close the book on DeBrant. He gave up 3 runs. All of them were earned. Worley, he'll face Ibar. Ibar, I think he's the only one in the lineup that doesn't have a hit so far in the starting lineup. It's a 1-8. Well, that's going to be a hit. This one is hit deep. Out to center field. It's going to drop. That'll be a double for Eric Ibar. So Ibar won't be blank today as he throws out his first hit. And now I believe every starter had a base hit. Well, I guess for me. So Jonathan Scope now at the plate. Scope, he's 2 for 4. Who else we got on this bench? Got some outfielders and a catcher. So Scope will hit. Spangenberg is from Philly? I didn't know that. All right, so this is a 1-6. So 1-6 is a single 2-star. That's going to drive home a run as, oh man, Frazier was at first. We'll say he got to third on the double from Ibar. I missed that one. Ibar with a 5. And actually, you know what? Did Ibar drive that run home? I don't remember what that roll was. It was a split chance, home run, double. There was no star, so I would have held him at third with the score the way it is. So that's okay. I feel better about that. But with a single 2-star from Jonathan Scope, that will score both of these dudes, as he's got 2 more RBI on the day. Scope scores Frazier from from third, and he'll drive home Ibar from second. And this one, if they could throw in a white towel, Baltimore would do it. As Scope drives in 2 more, and it goes back to Brandon Geyer. Brett Wallace is the ASU Sun Devil. Yeah, didn't he win? He was the college player of the year down there, wasn't he, Jerry Ball? Didn't he win the Golden Spikes down there at ASU? I'd have to look that up. I can't remember. So Brandon Geyer, he started this whole thing off in the 8th. He singled and came around to score. He's got a 4 for 4 today. 4 for 4 day. This is a 4-7. He's got a chance at a 5 for 5 day. A 1 to 13. It's not. That's an 18. He hits it hard, but hits it at the second baseman, Ian Kinsler. And finally, the 8th inning ends right where it starts with Brandon Geyer. But how many runs scored? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 runs here in the 8th. And it's a 12-1 ball game. Toronto laying it on as Erwin Santana. Will he come back out here? There's really no reason for him to. They will err on the side of the caution, and Santana will come off. He'll make way for, let me take a look at this. Who hasn't been used so far that much? O'Sullivan and Sullivan, where is he? Wait a second. Sean O'Sullivan. I don't even see him on my list. And oh, that's because it's Texas. I got the wrong team on there. Okay. Zach Putnam. Zach Putnam will come on. It helps when you look at the right stat sheet. I was like, I don't see this guy in my cards. So Zach Putnam will come on for Erwin Santana. So Santana, he goes 7 innings. There's no need for him to be extended anymore. He went 7. He gave up 1, 2, 3, 4 hits is all. 1 run. It was earned. He struck out 11, and he walked only 1 batter. That was a pretty dominant performance by Santana. And now Zach Putnam, the righty, will come out. So Putnam will face the top of the order. Ben Revere, 1 for 3 is he. And that's a 1-8. That's going to be a single. So the first batter greets him with a single. Putnam off to a bad start here. Jerry, didn't ASU have the distinction of having the highest cheerleaders among NCAA schools? Ken, I have been to the Tempe campus when I was in my college years, and I can't confirm or deny that. Ian Kinsler. Let's get back to the game. It's a 2-7. That's a single 2-star. Kinsler with back-to-back hits now against Putnam. And Revere gets the third. Daniel Murphy now. Daniel Murphy against Putnam. A 1-4. That's a ballpark single chance. And it's a single, so Ben Revere will score from third as Daniel Murphy has himself a garbage time RBI. That's a garbage time if I've ever seen one RBI. 3 straight hits, though, against Putnam. He's not fooling anybody. And you've got runners at first and second. Lorenzo Kane at the plate. This is a 4-9. A 4-9 is a strikeout, so Putnam gets a batter to strike out. And, of course, it's Kane. That's 3 strikeouts on the day for Kane. And there's 1 away. Josh Hamilton now, he struck out 3 times. Will they replace him? Yeah, they're going to get some at-bats for Nick Swisher. Josh Hamilton, they'll save him the disgrace of striking out 4 times in this ball game. So Nick Swisher will be the new DH. So he comes in for the DH. He steps in from the left side. It's a 4-8. A 4-8, that has a chance to be a single. It's a 7 just outside that range as it's hit hard, but at the second baseman, the new second, no, that's Jonathan Scope. Scope is having himself a day. Scope, 4 RBIs. He's got 3 hits. Made a lot of plays out there in the outfield as well. And so Putnam will face Chris Carter. Runners at first and second. It's a 6-6, and he draws a walk. So bases are loaded now as Kinsler moves to third, and Murphy moves to second. Jerry Ball in reference to Brett Wallace. He was the Golden Spikes in 2004. Also on the Olympic team. Cool. A.J. Ellis, he's going to get the rest of the day off. So Kevin Plawecki will get an at-bat. The old bones of A.J. Ellis will get a rest here. And Kevin Plawecki will get an at-bat. Plawecki with 2 outs, bases loaded. It's a 4-6. A 4-6 is a strikeout. So Putnam limits the damage to only 1 run. Got himself into some trouble. But we are through the 8th. Baltimore, they've got 1 more shot here in the bottom of the 9th. We'll see how many runs Toronto scores. Vance Wardley, he's not coming back out. He's had enough. We'll have to throw another sacrificial lamb out there. It will be Josh Smith. Come on down. A new car. Josh Smith. You get to face the Toronto Swablu lineup. So Josh Smith, Mr. Anonymous Josh Smith. Vance Worley, he went an inning. And how many? He gave up 4 hits, 3 runs, struck out 1, and didn't walk anybody. Okay, so Josh Smith is up. And Francisco Cervelli, that's a 3-6. A 3-6, he draws a walk. So Cervelli draws a walk. And it'll be Michael Taylor. Taylor, he's 3 for 4 on the day. He's going to come out of here at the ball game, though, as Michael Bourne will get a shot here. Michael Bourne takes over. He'll play right field for the bottom of the 9th. He'll get in that bat here. The lefty, Michael Bourne. They're emptying the bench. Bourne, he's a 1-6. He's kind of a monster. It's a 2-5. A 2-5 is a single. So a single, and Josh Smith gives up a walk and then a single as Cervelli moves to second. And Corey Spangenberg will have his second at-bat. It's a 5-7. That's a ground ball second base X. The second baseman is Ian Kinsler. Kinsler is a 1 range. So a 1-2 is a ground ball A. So Spangenberg doubled his first time. This time he hits into a double play. 4-6-3. That's going to get 2 outs. The runner Cervelli advances to third. But Bourne is out at second. And we've got 2 outs. It'll be Robinson Cano. Cano is going to get the rest of the day off. They'll go to Chris Denorfia to be the new DH. So the righty Chris Denorfia will get in that bat. And he'll face Josh Smith with runners at with a runner at third. It's a 1-6. That'll get the run home on a single as Francisco Cervelli will score from third. And Chris Denorfia has himself an RBI off the bench. Todd Frazier now. Frazier's 1 for 5. This is a 4-8, a 4-8. Of course, there's a single 2-star. The hits just keep on coming. They can't stop for Toronto. And the new DH Norfie is at third. Brett Wallace, he gets another at-bat. The pride of Arizona State University. Jerry Ball excited for the next at-bat for Brett Wallace. It's a 3-11, and he taps a little weak one to Josh Smith. Smith picks it up and weakly throws one over to first. And guess what? That's the third out. So Brett Wallace 0 for 2, a strikeout and a little tapper to the pitcher. So that'll be the end of the ninth. Toronto adds another one. That's a 13-2 ball game. A whooping that Toronto is putting on Baltimore. Getting started here in the AL. Zach Putnam. He'll continue. He'll face Ellsbury, Beckham, and Revere. Alright, so Ellsbury is up. He's 2 for 3 on the day. It's a 6-4. That's a ground ball, third base, X. It is a busy scorecard. The third baseman is Todd Frazier. Frazier is a third base 2. Third base 211 is going to his E rating, which is a 20. And a 20 with a, what is that, an 8? That's an error. So nothing clean in this one as Ellsbury reaches on an error from Todd Frazier. That's an E5. So leadoff man is aboard. And Tim Beckham. Beckham's 0 for 3. And he'll get the pitch. A 3-10 is that's going to be a double play ball. That one's hit to the shortstop Ibar. And it's a 6-4-3. So 2 outs now here in the bottom of the ninth. Going through the motions are Baltimore at this point. They know this has been over since way early. Since the first inning. And it'll be Ben Revere. Revere's 2 for 4. And a 2-5. Whoa, that one is a hit. It's a single 2-star. So he's aboard for the third straight time. Revere started out 0 for 2, but now he's 3 for 5. And Ian Kinsler is the batter now. Kinsler, 1 for 4. And he's going to get the rest of the day off as they'll give an at-bat to the last man on the bench, the switch hitter, Jimmy Paredes. So playing this one like an all-star game. Jimmy Paredes, the last man off the bench, and the manager for Baltimore has successfully played the entire roster. So big hand for him as he has done what he's supposed to do. And Paredes, the switch hitter, a 3-11. Oh, wow, Paredes gets a hold of this one. Not messing around here in the bottom of the ninth. Baltimore, we got to check the home run rating. Baltimore, it's a 1-18. So that's an 8, and Paredes off the bench, the last man off the bench, hits a 2-run homer here in the bottom of the ninth. And he is flying around those base paths. He is excited. Paredes with a 2-run homer. Ben Revere will score from first. And the crowd giving him all they have had stored up for this game. So Paredes with 2 RBIs. And it'll be Daniel Murphy. Ken Castro said, look at that scorecard. Wow. The scorecard looks like my cheat sheet in high school. And Daniel Murphy, he doesn't let this one die either, as this is hit deep. That's gone. A 1-16. We rolled a 15, so back-to-back homers against Zach Putnam, who's really had a tough day here. And that's a home run. So, what is it, a 13-5 ball game now? There's still hope here in the ninth. Maybe not. Putnam trying to get out of this thing. And, oh boy, that's a ballpark home run chance. It's a 1-11. That's a 3, so that's gone. Back-to-back-to-back homers for Paredes, Murphy, and Kane. Where did this come from? Oh, man. Nick Swisher now. Do you leave Putnam in there? He hasn't done anything. He's given up, what is that? 1, 2, 3. That's 4 straight hits now. 7 hits total in his 2 innings. I mean, I guess. I think if you're the Toronto manager, you're more annoyed, and you're just annoyed at Putnam that he's not getting anybody out. So you're just gonna leave him out there just to hang out to dry. All right, Putnam. Let's see if you can get Swisher. It's a 2-10. A 2-10 is a walk. Oh man, this is funny. So 4 straight hits and then a walk. And it's Chris Carter. All right, Chris Carter now. He's 1 for 3. This is a 3-6, and that will end it. Of course, Chris Carter, he swings big and gets no baseball. That's a strikeout. So the 3rd strikeout for Putnam, and that will end it. Thankfully, finally, here in the 9th. But look at that. Toronto gives up 4 in the bottom of the 9th on back-to-back-to-back homers. And this one is over, finally. That felt like a lot longer than an hour and 20 minutes. But Toronto serves up a whooping, and Baltimore, I'll give them this. Baltimore didn't go down easily. That bottom of the 9th was pretty fun. They scored 5 runs in the last 2 innings, did Baltimore. If Toronto didn't put up a 6 spot in the 8th, this one would have been a lot closer. But Toronto indeed does win this one. It's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 to 6. Sounds like a football score. Jerry says, you just made Jimmy Paredes' mom so happy. She was probably watching. And you know what? Let me check and see how many at-bats that Paredes has this year for Baltimore. It can't be many. Paredes has 4 at-bats. Before this game, he was 1 for 3 and had a double. So he's now got a homer. His first in this league. So, all right, that's gonna do it for me. I was tired before this game started, and I'm ready to pass out now. It's 10:30 here, local time in Denver. It's been fun. Tomorrow night, I got my fantasy baseball draft. And depending on how long that goes, I may stream. We've got a good one to stream as well. We've got the Boston Soul Rocks, the live chat's favorite team, the Boston Soul Rocks. They're in 2nd place at 9-6, and they will travel to Tampa to take on the Tampa Bay Man team, who are 6-9 and are in 2nd to last place in the AL. So Boston should win that one. However, Boston has lost 3 in a row. So will they be able to turn it around against the Tampa Bay Man team? We'll see that one on the next broadcast. This one has been fun. Jerry Ball, Ken Castro, you guys are awesome as always. We had Hammer Time in here earlier. That he gets to watch the replay, and if you made it all the way through, thank you, Hammer Time. You were fun here tonight. And for all the rest of you, I appreciate you guys being here. And keep on rolling. We'll see you again on the next broadcast. Maybe Wednesday night. Until then, take care. Good night.